We turn now to Harlem, New York, where dozens of people have been impacted by an outbreak of Legionnaires' disease. To help us understand, I'm joined now by Dr. Jon LaPook. So, Jon, remind us exactly what Legionnaires' disease is. It may have slipped from mind.
Yeah, you know, it's a bacterial infection. It often affects the lungs. And the first time I heard about it, I was a first-year medical student in September of 1976, and it was 2 months after this outbreak in the American Legion convention in Philadelphia.
Hence the name.
Hence the name, and it was this mysterious disease. Nobody understood it, and a couple hundred people got sick, and dozens of people died because it's so important to diagnose this and treat it early. So it's a bacterial infection. You know, the symptoms are viral, sort of the usual non-specific things: aches and pains, fever, sore throat. You can get a headache, you can have nausea, vomiting, and diarrhea, and then you can get a cough, and you can develop pneumonia, and that's when it gets really serious.
But those are symptoms that are pretty typical for a lot of things. So how do you know?
That is the perfect point for this discussion for people watching, because they are not specific. And so you have to have a high level of suspicion. And what happened here was in central Harlem, there were 58 people who were infected, and a couple of people sadly died. And what they've traced it to is 11 cooling towers, you know, like these HVAC systems. Mm-hmm. The bacteria get into the water systems, usually, especially in warmer water. It can be more stagnant. It can be in the fall, too. It can be in HVAC systems. It can be in spas, and it can be in various types of water. And what happens is the bacteria get into these droplets that are in the air, and then people inhale it. And the incubation period is about 2 to 14 days.
And then how does it go from person to person? Because as I read it, it's in several area codes, or rather zip codes, I should say, in Harlem. That's not just one neighborhood, it's all over the place. How does it move around?
And fortunately, it doesn't spread from person to person. It's that same one source, or 11 sources, which are infected everybody, okay? But fortunately, it doesn't get spread from person to person. So it's through the air, you inhale the droplets, they get sick 2 to 14 days later, but you're not in danger of giving it to somebody else.
Final question. How concerned should we be about it spreading wider beyond maybe one area?
All right. Well, the first illnesses were identified in 7/25, so July 25th. And actually, as of yesterday, August 4th, all 11 towers were cleaned up. And so now the clock starts ticking. So assuming that it's all gone, there's a 2 to 14 day incubation period, meaning if somebody was infected on the morning of the 4th, right before the last one was cleaned up, it could be incubating for up to 2 weeks. Oh. So in the next 2 weeks, we have to watch out for infection. For people who live in that area especially, have a high level of suspicion. It's very easy to diagnose if you think about it. It's a urine test. There's some abnormal enzymes that are in your blood. You can have a sputum culture. There's all sorts of ways of diagnosing it, very easily treated with any one of a number of antibiotics.
Okay, we'll keep an eye on it. Dr. Jon, thank you.